Doctor Strange is directed by Scott Derrickson, written by him and C. Robert Cargill, and stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Rachel McAdams, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Tilda Swinton, Benedict Wong, and Mads Mikkelsen. And Doctor Strange is about Dr. Stephen Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who is a brilliant but arrogant neurosurgeon who gets into a car accident and shatters both of his hands. While searching for healing, he finds himself in Kathmandu, Nepal, and stumbles into the world of magic and the mystic arts. Now, before I say anything about this movie, first I have to apologize because I know I've been out of the game for so long. I haven't uploaded a video in like over a month. That's because I just got a job, and I've been trying to figure out how to balance like work life with stuff for leisure like this. And it's been really tough on me for the past month. I've been screwing up left and right, but hopefully I've got the system worked out and maybe I can start publishing videos more regularly again. With that out of the way, let's talk about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is a movie that I think kind of rushes through its story quite a bit, although it is consistently visually daring and features some truly fine acting on display. Now, the main hook of Doctor Strange is definitely its visuals. Chances are that if you're watching this movie, it's because you saw all the crazy CGI in the trailer. You know, even if you're not a huge Marvel fan, that surely will get some butts into seats, and I tell you, it really pays off. The CGI and the visual effects in this movie are really great. It's probably a movie that you shouldn't go see stoned because I don't know what's gonna happen to you. But everything they do here is just so creative, and they really go the extra mile in portraying all these multiple dimensions and all this impossible geography. But what's more impressive about all these visuals is the fact that you completely understand what's happening, and you understand the different kinds of magic being used. All the visual effects here look distinct from each other, so you can tell what type of magic is there, but they all still feel like they belong in the same universe, in the same movie. You know, all the astral projection stuff is really cool. The mirror dimension, you understand what that is. The dark dimension, you understand that too. The Eye of Agamotto is cool, and even just these weapons that the sorcerers conjure up from their hands, like that's really great to see. You can tell that the visual effects people here had a field day with the VFX, and it really pays off. So much so that, in my opinion, it's kind of a disservice to just call this movie pretty or trippy and leave it at that, because I think this movie does much more than, you know, just look pretty, because it does open up successfully a new side to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we really haven't seen before, and you really believe it, which is a tough thing to do for the 14th installment in a franchise. You know, it keeps things fresh. And it's a credit to the script that you learn so much about how magic works in this universe, and it never becomes silly. You know, they treat this material with respect, so you as an audience member also kind of see it seriously. And they do it through really smart, really efficient dialogue that is also frequently very funny. However, as you're watching Doctor Strange, it becomes apparent that they really had to make some sacrifices with the script. Mostly with regard to plot. You know, there's a lot of story to tell in Doctor Strange, and they just don't have enough time to tell it, so they trade off some of that plot and some of that emotion that is important for deeper lore and just like a bigger world building sort of thing. And I recognize that that is sort of an issue, although I still understand why they had to take that step. So this isn't really the kind of movie that you should expect to be emotionally invested by, although for me it didn't bother me as much as I know it'll bother some other people, is because the characters for me are still great and the world is great, and the thing about the characters is that all of them really kind of illustrate different aspects of this universe. I think Stephen Strange is a great character, and I can't wait to see him interact with the other Avengers, and I think Carl Mordo, who's played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, is a fantastic character, and I really can't wait to see where they take that. Now, I know people will criticize this movie's pace, and they might blame the editing by Wyatt Smith and Sabrina Plisco, but I think it's more of an issue with the writing, because for me, in terms of editing, this movie is edited well, because, you know, there's so much craziness that's happening on screen, but they still manage to make it all coherent. And a lot of the stuff about magic is told to the audience purely through visuals, so that's a mark of good editing as well. And you can tell that the editors just had a lot of fun bending time and sequencing things in ways that normally would be impossible. And it's also credit to Scott Derrickson that the set pieces in this movie are so inventive and so cool and so fun to watch. There's a real method to the madness in all the craziness here that really shows that Scott Derrickson understands this material and knows how to communicate it effectively to the audience. My issue with Scott Derrickson as a director comes into the hand-to-hand combat scenes, like the kung fu scenes and whatnot, because they're always filmed so closely, they're really quickly edited, and they're really shaky, which is a shame because you can tell that there's real stunts going on there, it's just that we can never see it clearly. But overall, Scott Derrickson does keep things kind of unpredictable here. You know, you never know where the big set pieces are going to go, and that's really kind of admirable in that he decided to go somewhere new and original. And this being an MCU movie, of course there's humor in the film, and for me this humor didn't bother me at all. In fact, I think you needed this sort of levity to really balance out all the insanity. But we gotta talk about this cast in Doctor Strange, because in my opinion, Doctor Strange has one of the best casts in a standalone Marvel movie to date. First of all, Benedict Cumberbatch is just perfectly cast as Stephen Strange. You can tell he's having a blast playing this character, and what I love is that he retains this sense of wonder about him as he learns about all this magic stuff, but at the same time, he keeps that arrogance about him that his character originally had from the very beginning. I appreciate the fact that Benedict Cumberbatch approached this character in like a looser way. Like, he didn't play him as scarily, I guess, as his character from Star Trek Into Darkness or Smaug from The Hobbit. You know, he really cuts loose and it's really fun. And then you've got Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, and you know, all controversies aside about her casting, she is awesome in this movie. Like, the way she plays her character is that she keeps this character sort of ambiguous. There's a sense of mystery about her, so you don't really know who this person is really, but she's clearly having a lot of fun as well, and her performance really hints at a bigger picture than you even get to see in the film. Benedict Wong is really funny and surprisingly memorable. Mads Mikkelsen and Rachel McAdams are both really good as well, although I wish their characters had more to do. But my favorite performance in this movie is from Chiwetel Ejiofor, who is really just one of the best actors working today. He's so committed to this role, and even if he doesn't have as much screen time as, let's say, Stephen Strange, he really makes his arc very memorable and very interesting. Overall, I would really say that Doctor Strange is a really good movie. It's just, I think you need to know what to expect going into it. You know, like, this is really a movie that's more about world building and introducing the audience and the MCU to magic. It definitely has its flaws, but if you go into it really knowing what to expect, I think you'll really be swept up in the experience. And hopefully in the sequels, they get to delve into the characters a bit more because they can now afford to do that. Alright, so those are my thoughts on Doctor Strange. If you guys have seen it, please tell me what you thought about it. And whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.